All right, I was off on Gordon. He's going to be here, I think, on our next week's show. But listen, what I want to talk about is you've told us several times, Paul, I went out there, I had an idea of what I wanted to say and delivered the promo. But this one seems, you got the LT, Lawrence Taylor kind of, was this a little bit more, hey, let's talk about this before we deliver this, that you can recall?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
This one just seemed a little bit more coordinated as far as between you and Paulie Dangerously, as far as just how the whole promo was laid out. Do you think that there would have been some conversation as far as where he was going to go so that you knew kind of where to take the direction of the promo versus you just kind of going out there and freestyling it?
We never, ever went over stuff beforehand. We would say, you want to cover the match?
Okay.
He would say, I'm going to, because he did. He brought me he knows what a huge LT fan I was. He brought me one of LT's game jerseys that he gave him to give to me.
So that was real?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. And when the show was over, we went over to his, he had a club then right on the grounds of the stadium, a sports bar. Went over and had a few cocktails with him, and man, I was sitting there on cloud nine. I don't flip for a lot of folks. There's a few I do, and he's one of them because he is the best defensive player that ever lived, that ever played the game, no doubt.
So all that's legitimate, and Paulie just turns it into a wrestling promo, and Arn is just as smooth as you are, just play right off of it.
Just followed suit, just whatever they would say. And here's the key, you have to listen to what the guy before you saying. Some people get immersed when you have something memorized other than going out and just delivering what pops in your head. You catch yourself just reciting what you memorized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're second in line for the promo and the guy first in line sets you up and you're not paying attention, it doesn't flow. So you have to listen to that guy and play off of what he says.
And I get that, Arn, but I think what amazes me with the whole thing is that you're doing it in front of a TV camera. So there's added pressure there with you being recorded. But I get you've been doing this for so long, I guess it kind of becomes second nature.
It's the funnest part. It is the most rewarding part of the business because it tells the audience, forget what your gear looks like, forget what your body looks like, forget how tall you are, forget about how many flips you can do before landing on somebody
Sure.
way too heavy. It allows you to connect with the audience, and that's what does it. Promos, more so than matches or anything else.
I know, but I mean, it's got to be intimidating. And when those lights go on for someone to get lost and, oh shit, it's an oh shit moment for several, I'm sure.
It can be frightening if you're not adept at promos. It can be daunting. It can be scary. And if you ever get stuck, it can be frightening. And I'm sure that happened to me early on at some point. I just don't recall it.
You can't let it swallow you up, though. You got to fight through it.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And so that's why you just put a couple of bullet points in your head. And the main thing is, what is the final message that you're trying to deliver?
There you go. Focus on it.
Because that's what they remember. How does it close? Does it close strong? Does it hammer the point?
Okay. So as long as you have that in your head, then hey, that's my security blanket at the end of the day. If this goes off the rails or if something maybe says a little different than I wanted to, I have that security blanket knowing how I'm going to close this thing out.
Just like people, the only thing they remember is the finish to a match. Same thing with a promo. If you deliver the punchline, they'll remember it.
And there you go, sitting under the learning tree of AA. Arn, we move on.